Folks, I was at a party called I Live Baltimore, and I got introduced to this lovely lady, and they're like, she has a podcast. I'm like, okay, everybody does podcast. Kind of like, all right, that's great. What's your podcast about? And she started explaining a little bit about our podcast over the loud, blaring music. And I said, that's interesting. So I said, well, catch up sometime, Stayed in contact, but really didn't really follow up like I should because everybody's a podcast and everybody thinks, So then we ran into each other again at the cycling festival, the Baltimore Cycling Festival. I was like, hey, I remember your name, yeah. And we talked, and after that day, I was so impressed, just everything she was telling me about what she's doing and things she's really aspiring to be doing. And I'm like, wow, I really want her on my show. How can we make this happen? So the next voice you'll hear is the person that is a business owner, entrepreneur, doing big things all across the world. We'll be right back.
The Nopixafterdark podcast is fueled by Zeke's Coffee. Have you tried their coffee yet? I'm telling you, there's something different about it. Maybe it's because they roast their beans in a fluid coffee roaster, which provides the most accurate roasting temperatures and made with love. You will just have to check it out for yourself and try their delicious food while you're at it. Open now for curbside service, online ordering, carry out, and they also do wholesale. Visit Zeke's Coffee at 4719 Hartford Road. Open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday, 8 to 5 p.m. Kitchen closes at 3 p.m. or visit Zeke'sCoffee.com and you too can be fueled by Zeke's.
Are you or someone you love in need of mental health support? For All Seasons is now offering same-day therapy appointments with no wait list. Through the For All Seasons Open Access program, you can walk in for mental health services and begin therapy in the same visit. For All Seasons accepts all insurances and provides financial assistance if you need it. For therapy, psychiatry, or victim support, we have appointments available today. Call For All Seasons 410-822-1018.
Welcome to the Nopixafterdark podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Dante. I told you, this last call, the season is a fire. It's truly last call, and you're getting all the best of the best from all over the world, from Baltimore to Maine to Baltimore to Singapore. We're going to get everybody on the show because we're going to give you guys the best. My guest today is a big-time entrepreneur, businesswoman, business leader, doing big things. I was listening to her podcast, and I was very, very impressed. Now, next voice you hear now is Miss Sonia. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Hey, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Pleasure.
How you been? Thank you. I haven't seen you since the cycling festival.
I know.
How are things going with you?
They're going great.
Great.
Doing big things. I have had some time since then, even though it was a very short time ago, to think. And thinking is very important. I think you need to give yourself time and space to think about not only what you think about, but what you want to do next.
I love it. And I rarely do crossover episodes because I forgot she's a fellow I already said a podcaster, but she's really good at what she does. Gigging for Goal, it's a really cool podcast that I enjoy.
Thank you.
It's different.
Thank you.
And it's a refreshing podcast.
Someone said the other day it was like a variety show, and I thought it was kind of whimsical, but it made sense. There's a variety of topics on it, so that makes sense.
For me, I compare it to a nice cold glass of water on a hot summer day.
Well, that's very nice.
It was refreshing.
Oh, thank you.
You follow me? It was refreshing.
Such a storyteller.
It was new. It's my first time doing this.
Yeah,
the first time. I don't do my homework at all.
No.
But
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
It is, and I recommend people to. We'll talk about that, and how your podcast formulated and your business and whatnot. But let's learn a little bit about you. Are you from Maryland originally?
I am born and raised in Maryland. Okay. I'm from Navy parents. But I will say I got the travel bug very early on and spent most of college overseas, as well as, I just kind of never returned. So I've spent the past 20 plus years traveling. I go back and forth between the states, of course, and have lived in different states, many different countries. And then I've actually only been back in the States, stateside on land, since January of this year. So getting my footings, and Maryland and Baltimore in particular is where I chose with intention to live.
So would you say you're a Rolling Stone? No, but You know, that's pretty cool because you get to learn the world.
Yeah.
You get to see other cultures. You learn, educated by other people, see how people do things and whatnot. And that's very exciting. Which country would you say is one of your favorite ones that you lived in, that you learned a lot? I mean, I'm sure they all are amazing.
Oh,
they all have different personalities.
Yes,
what would
they
you
do.
say one that sticks out to you?
Well, I never say I have favorites, and I know that people do not like that.
Your friends
but
will be listening, though.
But I don't. I'm friends with you, but I don't have favorites because exactly what you said. It's such an honor and an incredible way to meet other people, see how they react to things, learn, if you can, how they think, why they think that way, what brings them joy. I will say, as a dance aficionado, one of my favorite things in any country is to go dancing.
Okay.
Like out at clubs dancing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And music just has no boundaries. And so it's one of my favorite things to do because it doesn't matter where you are, what you're doing. Once the music hits you, you feel no pain.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So now you see, this is me on the fly. That's going to be part of my speed round now. You switch it all. I can switch it all up for you now.
Yeah.
That'll be at the end. So, did you always want to be an entrepreneur? Like this, was there somebody in your family or somebody that you saw growing up that was an entrepreneur that you kind of like, that's kind of cool what they're doing. Let me know. I'm kind of curious about that.
No.
Okay.
I had no such background. In fact, that I had the very traditional encouragement to do the path of college and get a job, if you will.
Right.
I was very distracted in school all the time, as most entrepreneurs are. It's a very common story. In fact, being an entrepreneur and being a little bit older now, it is amazing that someone like you gets to tell other people's stories because you finally get to hear that other people were like you and you grow up in an area where, you're the only one doing a certain thing and you just feel like this odd, weird, crazy person. And in the end, you're just being yourself. And so I didn't always want to be an entrepreneur. I actually have a traditional background in schooling. And then one day I just decided to start a company, and that was 10 years ago. So I have and still have a boutique marketing agency, and this year will be year 11. So going strong.
Congratulations.
So thank you, and congratulations to everyone else who has a business over a year old. I mean, the success rate of that is almost zero. So
nice.
Yeah.
So when did you say, did you have a regular 9-to-5 job after school, after college, or when was that switch over, or did it already start? When did you click? When did that click for you? Because I mean, some people can, was there always a base background of certain things that were let me learn this, take components from this work, take perk from this job, and now I know how they're doing things. I can do my own thing. I've heard that so many different ways. What about yourself?
Great question. Well, I haven't thought about that in a while, but I would say in the marketing industry specifically, I have a master's in international education. So with that, I worked in Los Angeles for a number of years in higher ed, and I learned how to build out programs and schedules. And then after I returned back east, I worked in publishing, and I saw the editors plan things out far, far in advance. They had these huge, amazing whiteboards. I'm a huge whiteboarder. And Are you like whiteboards?
I do have whiteboard in my house, actually.
Yeah, they're so good. So I would see them plan out all of these things, and that really inspired me. It was this process where I didn't have to do things on the fly. People already knew what was going to happen. It was like they could see the future. And so I was always amazed by that. And then I do have a consistent background in photography. Grew up in a photography household.
Nice.
So all of the media and the writing, if you will, all kind of came together. And I'm just always interested in people, what are they doing? How can I tell the story? With photography specifically, a lot of people didn't like to get their photo taken. And I understand that. And it was kind of a challenge for me to take a candid photo and show it to them later. And just seeing their appreciation of being caught in the moment in a good way always inspired me. So when I decided to go into marketing, that was my thing. I was like, I just want to help other people, shine. Maybe they don't know it yet, but how can I be inspirational to them using my skills?
So all those things help build you to where you are right now.
I think so.
That's what it sounds like to me.
I would assume so. It's hard to find that thread over a number of years. When you're younger, you're like, yeah, sure, I've had a couple jobs. But, when you're several decades in, you either choose to find that theme or the theme finds you.
Nice.
And, it comes out in these type of conversations. So I appreciate you for asking. Thank you.
Hey, the listeners and viewers want to know.
Yeah.
So what is it about, were you always an extrovert? Were you introvert? Or I learned a new terminology, ambivert, whereas you're introvert, but you're extrovert. It's a combination. I learned it at jury duty. Little weird things you learn at jury duty, but I learned that. What would you say? I always tell people, people are my passion. They are my drug that I get high on, because people make the world go round, and you get to learn about so many different people, and you study people. I should have been a psychologist, but I never was. But I feel like I can
Are
figure out.
Are we in session right now?
Never. We're not. I didn't hit the bill part yet.
Okay, yeah, I can't afford you.
Come on now. But what about you? Like, how are you with people? Because you say you like people, you like dealing with people, you like working with people. You're in a marketing field. Mm-hmm. What would you call yourself?
Ooh, well, I had not heard that term until just now. So interesting. Yes, I absolutely say I'm half and half, and extrovert when needed to be. I can work a room like the best of them. Mm-hmm. But I do take a long time to process all of that. So that's where the introversion comes in. So if I go to a big event like the Classic we went to and I saw each other, I'm going to need a few days. I need to recover. I need to think about it. I need to be away from people. And it's not because I was just out in the sunshine and it was hot. I just need to take all of those energies and really either decide to digest them, and like figure out how they're all going to work in my life in a good way. Not saying that everyone is a networking connection, but like, would I like to see those people again? How did those encounters make me feel? Or would I like to connect anyone for them with them? And so I need to take some time. And I don't know. I think introverts really would understand that for sure.
Okay.
So half and half. What about you? What are you?
Oh, well, I didn't know. I never got asked. No.
Yeah.
I was a very big extrovert before COVID.
Okay.
Now I've regressed.
Interesting.
You might see me out, and that's the whole like, all right, I'm on.
Sure.
But honestly, like Saturday and Sunday, sweats, hoodie, TV, watching sports, football all day, Saturday and Sunday, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need to go out. And if I go out, I go to certain places because I don't want to talk about what I do. Mm-hmm. I want to sit there. Like I might go to, there's a couple bars in Baltimore that I go to that some of them, they forbid no cameras. No, you can't take a picture in.
Oh, you have to show me.
And that place is amazing because I can sit there and I can talk with people. And we're not talking about anything. We're just having fun. We're talking about life. And there's no cameras. That you can't take a picture in there. You can't do anything.
Oh, yes. Show me.
And it's phenomenal. So that's one of the things I like going to. And people are like, why do you like going there? Because it's peace of mind. Yeah. I go there, chill, hang out for a couple hours, and I leave. And everybody says, hey, good seeing you. Keep it going.
I like what you said because there's a certain thing about not having to talk. Like you can go out somewhere and not knowing. You're like, ah. But it's also, I feel like retelling the story from start so many times is an exhausting part.
It's exhausting
for me.
It's mentally exhausting for me.
Like
I went to a conference earlier today. Like, oh, you do. They already knew.
Yeah, right.
We didn't have to go through the whole. Yeah. And they were like, oh, okay. What's the most common thing is, what do you talk about?
Okay, I like that.
But it gets tiresome.
Yeah.
But you have to do it because you're selling yourself. Yeah. Marketing. You're doing one-on-one.
You are your brand. You gotta be doing it all the time.
And it's funny. I told a gentleman that today actually. Yeah. He was like, "How do you get sponsors?" Like young guy, he was in town from Miami for this conference.
Nice.
Guy's car. He's like, "How are you getting sponsored? What are you doing?" I said, "It's you. Look yourself in the mirror." Mm-hmm. I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You are the marketing. You are what they want. Yeah. The brand wants you." Yeah. And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "You are the brand."
There you go.
And he was like, I was like, you're the brand, and everything I tell you, go back home, look at your social media pages, clear anything that's not kosher, and then go talk to brands.
That's right.
I was like, you can have a media package all you want. They're going to learn everything about you. And when they call you, they already probably know everything about you already because they've already asked you.
I had well, you're exactly right. You're coming on my podcast, by the way. You're invited. This is your official invite. No, this is it. You're coming on. I heard you don't like to do interviews.
I don't.
I'll stop asking you questions.
No, I don't. I like. You're on my show. You can
but, I'm going to tell you something funny because this, just like you said, the branding thing, and I say it all the time to people. I'm a marketer. The Gigging for Gold podcast is to help entrepreneurs, and I will say it 1,000 times. And just this weekend, I was at a reunion. Shout out to a Semester at Sea 20-year reunion in Chicago.
Okay.
And I haven't seen these people in 10, 20 years. And someone says, I recognize you. You're always wearing a white button down. And I was like,
You're on brand.
I said, I sure am. And they were like, but I recognized you. Like, it was beautiful to see them like light up because they knew something. And in my head, I was like, see, it works. And I said, I'm wearing it on purpose. And they're like, what do you mean? And I just kept saying it. I was like, you're your brand. And I said, look, if you haven't seen me in 20 years and you recognize me from across the room from a shirt, that's the whole point. And I said, consistency will win every single time.
And folks, we'll be right back after those messages because then we're going to go into consistency, Gigging for Gold, and about how her became an entrepreneur, how she's been doing everywhere across the world. She has really cool conversations with friends all across the world about getting coffee when they know you pull up. It was a lot. I'm not going to talk about her show too much, but I'm going to let her talk about it. We'll be right back at these messages, folks.
You give to United Way, your gift could be the first spark of something bigger. It can help someone find, interview for, and get hired for a job, and provide follow-up services for success. It can break down educational barriers and give that extra help to a struggling student with in-school support programs. Give today. Spark something bigger.
Hi, my name is Catherine Womack. I'm a former strategic intelligence officer with the U.S. Navy. I spent the last couple of years at U.S. Cybercom and transitioned from active duty after 15 years into small business ownership. I own and operate a digital marketing agency in the state of Maryland. So a lot of people approach me thinking that digital marketing is simply social media management or maybe doing Google ads or Facebook ads, things like that. But what digital marketing really is an umbrella term for a multitude of tactics to get small businesses found by the people who need them. I personally specialize in search engine optimization, website development with conversion architecture in mind. And what that really means is the people are going to your website and doing the thing you need them to do. And oftentimes it's requesting a quote, an appraisal, things like that. So there's definitely a psychology to website development. And we lean really heavy into the psychology of sales to get people to do the things you need them to do. A lot of times as a business owner, you haven't had the time to think about what your needs really are, what your challenges truly are, the sources of those challenges. I can guarantee you in most cases, it's not simply that you need an ads campaign, and that's where I can add value to your marketing strategy.
And folks, we are back having this marvelous conversation Miss Sonia. Thank you so much for coming to Northeast Baltimore.
I love it here. Thank you very much. Very colorful. I like it.
What do you think of the studio? First time in the studio, what do you think?
Are these your tags? Like, what's going on?
So the studio pretty much is a mirrorless did this.
I like it.
And then two different artists did this.
Great.
The mirrorless who did this was Paige.
Okay.
She's awesome. Does murals all over the city.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a dope vibe. And
Yeah.
so we were going to do the whole thing, but I said, no, let's do one. And I think I might switch the studio up because one of my videographers last night, him and I were talking, and I think I'm going to put 2 chairs here, and I have 2 director chairs, and I have change the whole set around. So all you see is this background. And you'll actually utilize this.
Yeah.
And so we're going to move. So you can have 2 different sets. Have this how we're sitting.
That's a good idea.
And then have this sitting there. So that way the cameras are facing us. And we have this beautiful view. We can change the whole room around.
Yes.
So that's the vibe I'm going to be looking for.
A little fall, winter.
Yeah.
Change up.
A little change up.
Gotta do it. Keep it fresh.
Yeah. So enough about me. We're going to talk. You're here. This is your show.
Oh, yeah. We forgot.
I'm just here for you. We left off with your branding. Being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You worked international. You worked in LA. You worked in the East Coast. You saw how they had the whiteboards. You saw this. This is basically forming, I call it like the pizza, shaping the pizza. You're getting the dough. You're going to roll it out now.
Yeah.
To form like the whole pizza.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur comes around. You're like, I'm tired of working for everybody else. I want to work for myself.
That's right.
Walk us through that.
I actually was working for about 2 months with a marketing agency. So I did find my way into an agency, and this was 11 years ago. And that didn't last long. I never really played well in the sandbox. Oops.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that.
I feel like I did, but when it just came to giving my time to other people, that seemed counterproductive. It seemed all of my ideas were given to somebody else to make them money and successful. It's not all about money. It's just that, they keep pumping you for your ideas, and I'd be driving home like, that was a great idea, like, that was a great idea, and I'd get all excited. And then it finally dawned on me one day that idea was no longer mine, because I was exchanging my time for a paycheck, and it simply just didn't make sense. And so I literally one day was driving across the Bay Bridge, and that was it. And I said, I won't give my brain power and my time and my energy and whatever else that encompassed, literally all day long, to somebody else's success. And so could I do that for my own? Because I knew the ideas were good because they kept wanting them. That's all I had to go off of. I was like, somebody else likes them. So I said, what happened if I just started my own company? And the very next day, I started a marketing company. And it is not an overnight success. That is nothing of the sort. I mean, it took years and years and years of contacts and building things up. But I will say that I was very fortunate to be at a coffee shop one day drinking, like free refill coffee, because you're a broke entrepreneur,
right? Definitely.
And someone walked in who I had worked with in the past and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I've started a company." They're like, "Oh, good. What is it called?" I had no name. Like, "Where's your business cards?" They're at the printer. Yep, they're at the printer. Yes, they are. And they gave me a contact, and I called him right up and got that client almost immediately. So I have been very fortunate the past decade to have word of mouth contacts and clients. And you're right, they all are all over the world. I've had companies in Switzerland, Germany, France, many other places, a lot of places in the United States as well, but South Africa, New Zealand, so Italy. I have been very fortunate in that aspect, but I also will say, because someone recently just told me this, they go, "That's great, but was it the chicken or the egg? Is it because of who you are and what you already had done, why those people would be attracted to you and your business and your ideas?" I'd already traveled. So, what's one before the other? And I think that's a fun thing to think about.
That is. I like that.
It kind of hurts my brain a little bit.
But that's a good thing.
Yes, it is.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing to think about.
Yeah.
And I like what you said about the connections you made in the word of mouth.
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur, a lot of people are struggling. They're busting their butt. I always tell people,
excuse me,
I'm not the best podcaster out there, and I can admit that, but I know what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And one thing that people always tell me over and over again, and I have entrepreneurs on all the time, consistency is key.
Yes. Bravo.
If you don't have a podcast coming every week, then you're not consistent. If you do it once a month, do it once a month.
Yes.
If you do it every other week, then do it every other week, because people want to see consistency.
100%.
And from you, when they found out about what you're doing, what was your company name at that? Was it Gigging for Gold? How did you get that name? Where did all so
Gigging for Gold or the marketing company?
The marketing company. Sorry, the marketing company. Let's go with that. What was the name of it?
The marketing company is called Monkey Fist.
Monkey Fist. Yes. I knew that. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I had my cliff notes. I totally mixed them up. You started that. Where did that name come from? Please help us out with that.
Yes. So the name sounds rather odd as I say it. A monkey fist is a type of nautical maritime knot.
Okay.
My grandfather immigrated from Norway to the United States. So I'm second generation American. And he was a tugboat captain. So you can still see them out on the Chesapeake, right? The tugboats in and out. And he tugged in Norway and then in New York and then came to Maryland. So Baltimore, like the Cat's Eye, you know that bar?
Cat's Eye Pub, yeah.
So that was his old watering hole. I mean, he's like a salty, dirty sailor.
Oh, wow.
Anchor tattoo type of man.
Wow. So you have a lot of history.
No longer alive.
You have a lot of history in Maryland.
He used to tie monkey fist knots out at sea, and we were the grandchildren and would bring them back as, I don't know, gifts. That's what he could afford and give. So the name comes from that because I had them. They're smaller. In real life, they're huge. They're, an anchor weight to go on. Anyway, so he would bring them back and we would tie them on backpacks, our luggage. It was kind of like our family symbol. And when it came time, and this is very important because I know everyone is struggling when they come to name their company. They either say, do I call it my name, Sonja Thorsvik, or do I call it something else? So for me, I did not want to get pegged into Sonja Thorsvik as marketing because, hey, one day I might want to do something different. I already knew it back then. So I wanted it to become a legacy. And what did I already have around monkey fists? When I decided to call it that, it just so happened, and this is the chicken or the egg thing, that because it was nautical, people in the maritime, the yachting, the boating industry were like, oh my gosh, great name. So I have a heavy decade-long experience in now the yachting and maritime industry.
I want to apologize. I kept on saying Sonia. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No problem.
I apologize.
Don't let it happen again.
Please. All right. Did that help you get company jobs with different nautical? Okay, let's go into that.
I think so.
Was that on purpose?
No, I had never been on a boat. I didn't grow up boating. Maybe a canoe here or there. Not really. I had never been. I was just not in it. My family.
Really?
My family was not just hard no. And so when I did that, and people heard it, saw it, loved it, related, and it was just one contact after the other. I've worked heavily in power boating, fishing boats, and primarily catamarans for the many years now.
Interesting. Interesting.
Mostly carbon fiber catamarans.
Okay.
And I was breaking into the hydrogen fields with that as an alternative energy. So it was a lot of technology and tech.
Interesting.
Yes.
The more you know.
Interesting.
The more you know.
Yeah.
All right. So you've been doing that, which is amazing. And your business is taking off. The word of mouth, people are like, you got to hire, you got to hire, you got to hire. How does that feel as an entrepreneur where your company is starting to take off and it's starting to take that meteoric rise? You're like, all right, I'm starting to get there, starting to get like this tugboat.
Yeah.
Going up the hill.
Yeah.
And that's all it feels like going up a hill.
Yeah.
And you're getting close to it. You're getting close.
Yeah.
How does it feel like, you're 11 years in the game right now?
Yes.
How does that feel right now?
It feels amazing because I know as high as the high you go is the lowest of the low you're going to go. So when it all crashes and burns, which it does every few years, which I don't think a lot of people understand about entrepreneurship and owning your business, it does not stay at the top. It just does not stay at the top. And you want it to so bad. The first time I was naive enough when I'm like jetting back and forth to the south of France, unlimited company funds, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this is amazing. Staying in beautiful hotels. I don't know. The next year it was 0. And so you experience these highs. I think that a seasoned entrepreneur like you and I, know that. And so now it's expected. And even though it never feels good and you know it's coming, you can see it coming when it happens. But I think my advice to people would be learn how to fail faster. Learn how to fail because you're going to fail. That train car is going to completely crash. It's going to catch on fire. It's going to roll down. It's going to be horrible.
On your podcast, I'll tell you my almost failure.
Yeah.
And, it was a failure. It was tough.
Yeah.
I almost quit the podcast. I almost quit everything. But I knew I had something in the horizon and I just couldn't see it. But I knew it was there.
What kept you going though? Not what you saw, but there had to have been a feeling.
It's the faith. I believe in myself.
Good.
When you believe in yourself, it's the strongest thing you ever be. Nobody can ever tell you anything.
Correct.
So that's why, you could talk to one of our producers over here. I met him a couple years ago, but we didn't start working together for until a year and a half ago.
Really?
Because I'm very who I work with, particularly who I deal with, and the circle is very tight of who I work with. And I'm very picky about, he'll have people, I want to work with Aaron. He doesn't introduce me to him. I don't, because he knows. I'm like, I just don't, I don't have the bandwidth for it. Yeah. And I just don't have the mental, I can do it. I'm not there yet.
Sure.
Even when the pandemic happened, I look back at it. I know it'll come back to me twice-fold. I helped a lot about 10 different podcasters. And somebody's like, you should pay for your time. I was like, you're exactly right. Everything's not about money. Because that money's going to come back to you in different ways.
Yes, it will.
And the blessings will come different ways. And give you an example, I had somebody who I trained on podcasting. Gave her great advice a couple of times. She said, hey, you should start looking into grants.
Okay.
And I said, okay. And she started throwing these grants applications to me. And I'm not going to tell the end result of it because that's not going to be this episode. Okay. But the blessings have come back. So that's what I'm saying. So you've seen it. That's what I'm saying. That's why I like talking to fellow entrepreneurs. You understand it. You said something really interesting in your podcast. So sorry, we're going to switch a little bit to Gigging for Gold podcast. Great. Let's switch about, because there was something interesting you said. You said, and I'm not going to quote verbatim, you're like, I do not post on TikTok because the age group of TikTok is not the group. Look at your audience and who you're attracting. If that audience is not your audience, why go there? Even though it's going on a quick rise, I stick to one or two social media. It was interesting you said that. Because you made me rethink about how I do things. Yeah. And how to play it again. I had to listen to what you probably don't much episode. I was going your episodes. I was like, I was like car rides. I was like, okay. Yeah. But you said something that was like, I was like, damn. And it was interesting. Today I was spoken when I went to the podcast 101 talk. The lady I was talking to, I was like, yeah, I do video. And she's like, who's your audience? I was like, 33 to 55. She's like, do you think they listen to watch videos? Right. And I said, you're right. I know the people who listen to my podcast listen to the audio. That's the bigger audience. The video is a newer audience. But is that your audience though? She said. And I was like, I can go back to audio in a heartbeat. She's like, maybe think about that. Huh? Maybe just have a camera in the room and hire a video guy just to do clips.
Yeah.
And that might be just enough. And I said, how about that? So it's just retraining our brains to think differently. Gigging for Gold. How did it happen? Great podcast. Talk about it.
Thank you.
I just gave it a plug right there.
Yeah, thank you very much. Gigging for Gold, and this will go into what you were just saying. Gigging for Gold was born out of Monkey Fist Company, specifically after 10 years. So this is a newly launched, I wouldn't say product for me, but extension of a decade of learnings. And I specifically launched it this year because 10 sounded like a great number. A decade of experience sounds wonderful. My specific goal with it is to help entrepreneurs, specifically self-employed entrepreneurs, which are usually one and the same these days, on how to make their next best move. And I am going off of pure experience, and I have had many successes, which I would love to share to help people go further, faster. And I have done it over the years in different ways. And a podcast came about because, well, I have been marketing for 10 years for almost 50 companies. I think this year is number 50. And quite frankly, I got tired of the so-called new day traditional things like anything to do with the apps and just the messaging. For me, how we talked about introvert and extrovert, how I decompress is I go on a walk every morning. I listen to podcasts. So I'm a long consumer of the medium. And so, you have these epiphanies when you walk or whatever, however you like to meditate, if you will. And mine was, hey, I'll just start a podcast. Much like I started my business 10 years ago. I'll just start a business. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know if I'll be any good at it. But what I didn't do was go, hey, I'll jump on TikTok and start, I don't know. I don't even use it. So
Right.
I wanted to do a medium that I already enjoyed, loved, consumed, and it would be challenging enough for me to make it different. So with Gigging for Gold, it is specifically for gig workers, the gig economy, like I said, entrepreneurs, self-employed, people that are doing their business. If they're side hustlers, awesome. You're welcome. My whole goal with it is to get people to understand that you're not alone. You're not crazy. The way that you like to learn and digest information is unique to you, and that's amazing. And people should be catering to you and not the other way around. You don't need to be out of a system or let's say you're not able to learn because someone's giving you information one way. Go find it a different way. Your brain's wired differently. Like, you're incredible. You're amazing. Go figure it out. So in my hopes that other people like me, I don't know, maybe they're taking their walk. Maybe they're doing their drive and they get to listen to something. And every single thing I produce is meant to inspire and have some type of actionable thing to do. I don't ever want someone to leave and go, well, I just listened to this lady for an hour and that was nice. I want them to like get out of their car and go buy a domain and just go do that, or go call 10 more people and close the deal, Just like pure energy.
I like I said, it's like I said, your podcast is like a fresh, cold glass of water. It's refreshing.
Thank you.
It's different. It's unique. It's talking about business, talking about being business savvy things, and I really like that because it's a different perspective. You're kind of your lens of what you've seen, what you've been through, what you've seen, what's the trends, and you back it up with data, which is even better.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that. I almost forgot that. Yes, I do like to back it up with.
Am I producing your podcast?
Yes.
Did I do my homework?
You're good. You get an A+.
Okay,
Statistics
all right.
and
You do. You break it down.
Yeah. Also neuroscience. So like why it works.
Right.
Why, what's happening in your brain, what's happening in somebody else's brain, and that's zero manipulation. It's just kind of how humans work. So if you can understand that and work around it and work with it, there's a recipe for success in there somewhere.
I love that. So, you have, how many different companies do you own right now?
I own 3 companies now.
Okay.
I've owned 2 other ones in the past.
Okay.
When I first started out, I used to sell Twizzlers out of my backpack. So I'm going to count that. Middle school. Yeah.
I like it.
Almost like a lemonade stand, but
What would you say to an entrepreneur out there? What is the key to success? Or what do you say that they need to do to be successful? I know there's not one word answer, there's nothing, but what is something that every entrepreneur should know that you learned from all your past ventures and even from this, what you put in, or you might listen to Gigging for Gold for that. I don't know, so maybe a shameless plug right there, but tell us what the entrepreneur who listening, because I have a lot of entrepreneurs that listen to the show. What would you say to them?
Definitely listen to Gigging for Gold.
Nice.
And don't give up, but know when to give up. So if you're trying and you have your blinders on and you've done your homework and you have that innate internal drive and you've stopped listening to everyone around you and you're so excited and you've put 5 years in, and you're just like, this is it. It's never, this is all I'm going to do that. Have the drive. Stop listening to people. Stop letting people tell you that you're supposed to do this one thing. Time is going to go on no matter what. I want you to do whatever you want to with your own time. But I will say, if you go on and you have no success after a number of years, now you're in debt and everyone around you has fallen off. Sure, there's those breakthrough moments, but I'd say learn how to stop and either reassess that, like we said in the beginning. Learn how to take time for yourself to stop for a second and make sure that that's the path that you want to go on. There's a quote that says, you can spend years and years and years climbing the ladder only to find out your ladder is leaning against the wrong wall. Stephen Covey, I believe, said that. And so you need to understand your fail factor, how much time and energy you're willing to spend on this thing. And I think, though, having said that, because I want it to be very positive, if that particular thing isn't working out for you just as it is, in no way, shape, or form you're going to tell me that 5 years in and you've hustled this hard that you haven't seen signs of success. It's just not possible, like through the numbers. So I would say stop, reassess, take everything that has been working and do more of that and just get rid of the other stuff. And it's exactly what you were talking about. If you have spread yourself too thin on ridiculous channels and platforms that you shouldn't be on because you don't know anything about them, someone just told you you're supposed to be on them, delete them. For heaven's sake, focus on the good ones. Focus on what you're good at. Just stop the craziness. Like, stop making yourself crazy that you need to be everywhere. You don't.
Yeah.
Whew.
You dropped it right there. We don't even say any further more.
That's it.
So where can we find you on social media, websites, wherever, LinkedIn, I don't know, whatever. Before we go there,
yes.
What is your preference? What social media is your preference? Sorry. I know you told on the show, but I think I'm curious. You
know what's funny?
What's that?
When you and I first met at the
Live Baltimore
party.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Baltimore. I was like, I have a podcast. Do you have a podcast? And you immediately pulled up Instagram and you're like, what's your podcast? And I go, no, I have a podcast. But you were checking my podcast on Instagram. So this is what I mean by, know your audience. Mm-hmm. And I made you look me up on Spotify.
You did.
Remember? I was like, I'm not on Instagram for my podcast. I'm just on it for personal. And actually that night I went home and I was like, uh-oh, people are trying to look for my podcast on Instagram. So you made me think. I like that.
They do.
Yeah.
They're not going to look on Spotify.
I know.
But here's the thing. People they will go download you on Spotify right away, which that's a good tactic. Mm-hmm. That's a hell of a tactic.
Okay.
Because if they get it, they've already downloaded it. It's not a listener.
I'm like, oh, follow.
Well, that's smart. That's a follow. That's smart.
Yeah.
I look at it as, if you look at my Instagram, you're like, oh shit, he's got some cool guests. Yes. Let me go to this.
I know.
Now I see what he's doing. I see it. So I will tell you.
Yeah.
My favorite social media is LinkedIn.
I love LinkedIn.
I get more business connections on LinkedIn. Instagram is just something for kicks.
Yeah.
It's something for the people to look at.
Yeah.
They get excited about.
I'd say those are the two. Those are the two.
I am trying to wean off TikTok because there's just no purpose of it for me anymore. It's cute, it's fun. I'm trying to wean off Twitter because at this point it's nothing for me. I'm not into the whole So this is a whole different debate. So
For me, it's LinkedIn and Instagram.
Yeah, I get it. Okay. It's Spotify, right?
And the social channel is Spotify. But I am streaming everywhere. You get your podcasts.
Okay, so you plug it. Plug it. Go ahead. Good plug.
Yeah, Gigging for Gold is at giggingforgold.com.
Okay.
And like I said, it's also streaming anywhere you get your podcasts. And this season 2 is coming up. You have been podcasting longer than I have, but my season 2 is coming up.
Congratulations.
So thank you very much. And I really believe what you said. If you are not consistent in it, it kind of goes away. And it's also something that I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure that I really loved it. So I paused it for a while, just like anyone does. And I miss it. I love it. I love the medium. I love doing it. It's only been paused for a little bit. But
how many episodes do you have right now?
I think I have 30.
Okay. You're not there yet.
No, not at all.
There's a certain number I always tell people
what is it?
They can get past 100, then I feel like they're legit then.
Yeah.
The reason why is because anybody can do anything for 50 episodes.
Oh, I know. Easy.
But once you get past the 100 threshold,
yeah,
people take it a little more seriously.
What are you on now?
2 something.
Nice.
I don't know. I was 2 something.
Yeah.
But a lot of people didn't take me seriously until after I got over 100.
Because they were absolutely not.
Because they were like, oh, you really, and they're like, you've been consistent. You've gotten better at your craft.
Yeah.
You're laid back. It's more conversational. And I see that I can't wait to be a guest on your show because I think you are really good at what you do and your sound is impeccable.
Thank you.
Your sound is really good.
Thank you.
I was going to ask you that secret world, but I'm looking. I'm plugging. So, what about your other business? Do you have a website for that too, or do you have anything? Go ahead. You didn't plug that though.
Sure, I do. It's called Monkey Fist Company. Thank you. And that would be for anyone looking for one-on-one marketing services for their companies.
Okay.
So 2 things.
Small, big, large companies. How do you scale?
I'd say medium to large and more in the luxury area. Okay. And that is worldwide. And then, like I said, Gigging for Gold is for those entrepreneurs like you and I who really just want to learn how to do things to the best of their ability to make the biggest impact in the shortest amount of time.
Gotcha, folks. And then I'm not letting you hook speed round. We got to get you on speed round.
Okay, what do I do?
Okay, ready?
Okay.
All right. Now, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't think you eat meat, do you? I feel like meeting you. Okay, I'm just trying to get the background
of it. Let's go for it.
And seafood kind of sort of. Yeah. Okay. Crabs or crab cakes?
Yes.
Which one would you pick?
Yes.
Which one would you pick?
What?
You got to pick one of the two.
Crabs.
Why crabs?
I like the challenge. Okay. I also like to show people too if they need to know.
Like it. I like crabs because we put our cell phones down.
Oh, yes, we do. Got Old Bay all over your hands.
That means it makes people pay attention to your conversation.
I like it. Very nice.
His phone is gone.
Yeah.
It's out of play.
Good, I like it.
We're back to society again.
Okay.
All right. Pager or cell phone?
Beep, beep. Ooh, pager, because I don't have notifications on my cell phone at all.
I do.
0. I turn it off.
Here we go.
Okay.
BlackBerry or iPhone?
iPhone.
Ooh, I like the Crackberry. No. The Crackberry had that keypad that was like,
I did.
That keypad was everything. Yes. I loved my BlackBerry.
Okay.
That was the best. You could drop that damn thing off the second floor and still work.
Yeah, you're right.
It was, but that was just me.
Okay.
All right. Winter or summer?
Oh, in Maryland?
No, in general. I'm curious because I know your background, so I'm curious. Because
this is difficult.
This is speed
Summer.
round.
Ocean.
Okay.
Swimming.
All right.
Cold is cold.
Your favorite music concert you've ever been to? Your top 2.
Ooh, I had a really good time at Thievery Corporation at the Red Rocks.
Red Rocks of Colorado.
That was pretty good.
Okay.
That was crazy. And concert?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Pass. It's going to take me too long to think.
What music do you listen to get you motivated?
To get me motivated, I do listen to a lot of pop and hip hop. And then when I'm in the zone, I'll listen to chill house music. If I'm doing coding or even writing, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're off the hot seat now.
That's it?
That was it.
I'm going to think of my concert and get back to you later.
All right. Well, Thank you so much for coming on the show. Go check out her podcast. Go check out her business. This has been a great informational podcast. I've learned a lot. I learned a little bit more about her, and I'm excited that I will be guest on your show. I will be on your show for sure.
Yes, thank you very much.
And folks, again, thanks for hanging out for 45 minutes, an hour. Find me on Nopixafterdark.com. You can go on at Nopixafterdark on IG, X, and Facebook. Aaron Dante on LinkedIn if you want to check in with me. As always, love, peace, we're out. Never seen so many